Project Subcommittee is holding this meeting virtually today using Microsoft Teams, and a video of this meeting will be provided on our website in accordance with the Open Meetings Act requirements. Just some housekeeping for this, for today's meeting. For those of you that are joining us through your computers and using the Teams app, please make sure that you are muted. So click the microphone looking symbol and make sure that there's a line through it so it shows that you're muted unless you are actually the speaker. If you are on the phone and calling in, you're going to need to use *6 to both mute and also *6 to unmute yourself if you have a question. Prior to this meeting, the public was invited to submit written comments on the agenda item up to 24 hours prior to the meeting. And if those comments were received, they will be read by commission staff at the appropriate time. I believe we have already confirmed that we have quorum, but I just want to double check with the commission staff that we are in fact at quorum.
Sure.
Do we need to do a roll call too?
Yeah, I'll go through the list of who we have. So I have Commissioner Hertz. By phone, I have Commissioner Laird and Commissioner Mahoney, Commissioner Parker, Grants, McCall, Robertson, Jacobs, Mangum, and McDowell.
Sounds good. All right. First order of business today is to ask for a motion on the October subcommittee minutes. So for the commissioners on the line, if you've had a chance to review it. Okay, so Pat Mahoney, gotcha. Commissioner Mahoney is moving to approve the minutes from October. Can I have a second for that? And Gary, Commissioner Mangum has indicated by raising his hand that he seconds the motion. Call for a vote now. All those in favor of approving the minutes from October, please unmute yourself and indicate by saying aye at this time. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All right, a bonus aye there. And then are there any oppositions to approving the minutes? If so, please unmute yourself and indicate by saying nay. Hearing none, if there are any that are abstaining for any reason from approving the minutes, please also indicate by unmuting yourself. All right, not hearing any of those, we will say that the minutes have been approved and move to the first item on our agenda today, which will be presented by Charlotte Sheeran. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Charlotte.
Thank you, Chair Hertz. Let's see. Okay, hopefully everyone can see the presentation in presentation mode.
Right now it's a black screen. We saw your edit mode, but then it went to...
Okay, let me try again.
It's good now.
Okay, try it this way. Thank you. As Chair Hertz said, my name is Charlotte Sheeran, and I will be presenting the State Highway Administration Elkton Pedestrian Bridge Project. Before I begin, I do just want to note there is a typo on page 2 of my staff report under the Permit Agency Reviews for Maryland and the Maryland Department of Environment subheading. The original JPA was submitted on June 18th, 2020, not June 18th, 2022. So just giving everyone a heads up on that. So this project is located in Cecil County in the town of Elkton along Maryland Route 7, where it crosses Big Elk Creek. I can kind of give you so this is the current roadway bridge crossing. And this is the side that the pedestrian bridge will be installed on. And this is kind of coming from the other direction, so it'll be over here. The project will install new sidewalks, construct a 10-foot wide prefabricated pedestrian bridge over Big Elk Creek, resurface existing driveway entrances, and upgrade road signage. Improvements will also include removal of existing pavement along the west side of Maryland 7 to narrow the roadway and create a grassed area between the roadway and the new sidewalk. The sidewalk improvements will provide safe ADA accessible connectivity from the historic district along Main Street in the town of Elkton to the paved trail at Meadow Park, located east of the Big Elk Creek Bridge crossing. So, to orient yourself, the town of Elkton is this way, the park is this way, the bridge is here. So there will be impacts to the critical area buffer, which will total approximately 2,754 square feet. The required buffer mitigation with using the appropriate ratios comes to 4,765 square feet. SHA is going to be paying a fee in lieu to the town of Elkton at a rate of $1.50 per square foot for a total payment of just over $7,000. And SHA is currently coordinating with the town of Elkton to spend this fee in lieu on tree plantings along Big Elk Creek in Meadow Park. So, let's see, the park kind of extends well down south of this area. And the Elk Creek runs right along the edge of the park. So they're looking at some tree plantings within the park itself. And this is actually an image of the park right now. There's also a 10% phosphorus reduction requirement for the project. This is also going to be met with a fee in lieu paid to the town, which is then going to be used for additional riparian plantings. So MDE non-tidal wetland license has been received. And again, if you're following along in my staff report, just noting a second time that there's a typo on page 2 under permit agency reviews and Maryland Department of Environment. The original JPA was submitted on June 18th, 2020, not June 18th, 2022. The stormwater management and sediment erosion control plans have received concept approval from MDE. DNR Wildlife and Heritage Service has reviewed the project site and provided guidance on the stream closure period for a use one stream. Maryland Historic Trust determined there will be no adverse impacts on historical resources for the project. And U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service determined there would be no impact on the 2 rare, threatened, or endangered species that were found within the site review area. So because the design life of the project is 25 years, we looked at the predictions for sea level rise going out to 2050. The bridge will be overtopped by everything above the 10-year storm event, because the existing roadway profile is lower in elevation than the surrounding floodplain, which creates this flooding vulnerability. However, the pedestrian bridge will be designed so that the roadway bridge structure will take the brunt of any high velocity storm events. The pedestrian bridge abutments will be armored with riprap, and the pedestrian bridge structure itself will be anchored to the roadway bridge structure. In addition, the riparian plantings that are proposed as part of the mitigation will hopefully help increase the ability of the vegetated stream bank to protect against flooding events. And also, SHA noted that the pedestrian bridge will not increase flooding upstream of the proposed pedestrian bridge. So this is just a visual representation of the 2050 10-year storm event and the 2050 100-year storm event. The CoSmart construction design criteria was not required for this project because it is majority funded by federal funds. Public notice was met with a posting in the Cecil Whig on September 7th, and the sign was posted concurrently on September 14th, and no comments have been received. Staff recommends that the Critical Area Commission approve the project with the following conditions: prior to the start of construction or within 60 days, whichever comes first. SHA shall submit a copy of all final plans, permits, and approvals, including stormwater management plans, MDE stormwater and erosion and sediment control approval, and MPDES approval to commission staff. The second condition is that prior to the start of construction or within 60 days, whichever comes first, SHA shall provide to commission staff a planting plan showing the location of the proposed mitigation plantings by the town of Elkton to meet the required buffer mitigation and the 10% stormwater management mitigation. Are there any questions? And also, these are pictures of Kate's puppy, not mine, but I've been watching him while she's been on vacation, so I wanted to put these in.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So that area on Delaware Avenue is historically known to flood.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, two or more times a year when you get the right storm conditions. And I mean, the roadway has to be closed for days while the town then can come in and clean all the sediment and debris out of the road. And it looks to me like where they're talking about the pedestrian bridge, you see huge trees go ramped up against the bridge in that area. So, I mean, it's a great idea, but I just question the setting of that, that's all.
Yeah, so in speaking with SHA, they recognize that ideally the bridge and roadway itself would be elevated. However, the funds for that project are not currently available. And there is a lot of concern from the public and I think the town of Elkton about the safety of pedestrian access along this roadway. So I think in an ideal world, they would be changing the elevation of the roadway itself in conjunction with this project. But I think because of the high level of concern from citizens about pedestrian access, they've moved forward with this part of the project. But there was a lot of discussion about that. And the design changes or accommodations that they've made with the pedestrian bridge project hopefully will limit any impacts from that flooding, but they are well aware of it.
Thank you.
I think Catherine had a question as well, Commissioner.
Yeah, thanks. I had a question about the mitigation, and I may have missed it in your presentation. Is that mitigation, the tree plantings in the park, is that within the buffer?
Yes, so it'll
Okay.
be along Big Elk Creek, yes.
Thanks.
And I did have a question. It's just maybe a point of clarification in the staff report under the climate resiliency section, and I guess in conjunction with Commissioner Parker's comments earlier, it's saying in the second paragraph that the pedestrian bridge will be overtopped by the current 10, 25, 50, and 100-year storm events. Is that meant to be the 2050, or is that an accurate statement to make that right now that bridge is overtopped during all of those existing storm events?
Yeah.
I just want to
that-
make sure that if it's not overtopping for all of those magnitudes of storms, that it's captured correctly in the staff report.
My understanding, based on the information that was provided by SHA, that is accurate.
Okay, thank you. Emily, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, thanks. Charlotte, I'm really sorry. I should have caught this sooner, but I just had one suggestion for the conditions. Could we say within 60 days of commission approval, just so
Yep.
it's clear when the 60 days begins? Because otherwise right now it's not, it's a little vague. So,
Yep. I
okay,
can.
thank you.
Right. Any other questions or from the commissioners? Okay. Hearing none, I would like to ask for a motion. And if you are making a motion and you're on the phone, you have to unmute yourself, or you have to click the button on the screen if you're online. Would be a
Well,
motion to approve with the staff recommendations.
I'll make a motion to approve with the staff recommendations as amended by Emily
All right. Was
Second.
that Commissioner
Parker.
Parker? Okay. So I thought, okay.
I'll second.
And we have a second from Commissioner Mangum.
Jerry.
All right. So at this point, I will call for a vote on moving this forward to this afternoon's meeting. So all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any commissioners abstaining? I mean, sorry, that are opposed? If so, please indicate by unmuting yourself and saying nay. And I just want for the record to indicate that I will be abstaining from voting on this today. So the ayes have it and the motion has passed, and we will do another vote this afternoon. In less than 10 minutes, maybe. I don't know.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Charlotte, and for explaining and answering the questions that were raised. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Great.
Got to adjourn.
I think, oh, I have to adjourn too. I have to make that. Okay. At this point, this meeting is adjourned and we will reconvene this afternoon.
10 minutes.
Thank
Thanks.
you all.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.